Hey everyone, welcome back to Breakthrough Innovation, where we uncover what it really takes to lead change, create value, and build what's next. I'm JL Heather, here with my co host Preston Chandler. Together, we lead Centered, a firm that helps organizations navigate complexity, spark creativity, and unlock the full potential of their teams through innovation coaching and strategy. Today's guest is someone who knows how to turn complexity into clarity and strategy into scale. Alex Blinov is a chief product officer at ZenDrop with more than 15 years of experience leading global product teams, driving agile transformation, and aligning product strategy with business growth. Alex, we really appreciate you being here. We're looking forward to the conversation. Welcome to Breakthrough Innovation.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you. And hello, everyone. Hello, JL. Hello, Preston. Happy to be here.
We're glad to
Awesome.
hear you.
So maybe let's start with the big thing here, ZenDrop. So what is the story? What did you walk into? And you've mentioned that it was the right time to build a formal product function. Why is that?
Yeah, so first of all, a couple of words about ZenDrop as a company, what ZenDrop is actually doing. So we are providing fulfillment and dropshipping solutions for e-commerce sellers, primarily in the United States, but we also have worldwide customers. And this platform, this service and software existed for a couple of years prior to me joining the company. When I joined the team, the company was about 200 people with a software product with 30 plus developers, but zero product managers and zero designers. And to me, it looks like the right point actually to start doing something, because my first impression from the company and from the team when I joined, it was like a wild party of over promising and under delivering things. And my goal was to fix it.
That sounds very familiar.
Yeah.
Can
Well,
imagine.
and it wasn't just adding the product function, though. If I understand what you're saying correctly, and what you were talking about earlier, there's a little bit more of an agile transformation component to it. Maybe talk a little bit about what drove that.
Yeah, absolutely. So I believe the state of the company when I joined it was quite similar to startups, to fast growing companies, where the company growth was not actually followed by the team structure, the team processes. And the problem I'm going to speak about should be quite familiar to your listeners and to other businesses as well. So first of all, there was lack of transparency, what developers are actually doing, what their focuses are and when they are going to deliver it. Second, there was misalignment on delivery timelines. So deadlines were constantly missed and the leadership team was not happy about it. The main concern from the leadership team that development is not contributing enough to business and they do
Yeah.
not enough value, enough pace from the development function. So these were key problems that I saw in the company. And well, if you speak about processes and an organization as well, I believe the structure was not ready enough for a scaling, for a fast growing. There was lots of silos, so different teams operated in kind of a vacuum, and these silos actually prevent development and product management to be flexible and to deliver things which impact all the functions in the company and contribute to business and customers.
I think one thing that I want to pull out here is your focus on some of the metrics. All too often, JL and I have both been in plenty of companies who say things like, "Well, I just want to be agile," and we're like, Okay, what problem do you want to solve?" And I really like how you focused, you framed it on we're not really being transparent, and it's taking too long to do this, and we can't be very productive, and we're not setting good expectations. To me, those are the pain points that you then say, okay, now that we have these pain points, let's solve for these pain points. Let's actually fix them. Yeah, Agile's a good way to do that. Uh, but all too
It's not the
often,
only way.
yeah, it's not the only way. But I've seen too many companies like do change for the sake of change or agile for the sake of agile and don't really solve.
Don't understand what success would look like.
Yeah, I really like this question, Preston, and thank you very much for asking that. So, the core problem we are trying to solve here, well, at least the core problem I tried to solve when I joined the company was gaining enough level of trust from the leadership, the whole company leadership in product development, so they can rely on product management and product development function and actually delegate the product vision function and for management it's quite hard doing it at this particular point of business, because usually the visionary role belongs to CEO of the company or senior leadership. And when you introduce a new function as product management, you need to force leadership to delegate your visioning role as well. So the core problem we're trying to solve here was kind of gaining more trust. And it's actually tricky what kind of metrics you can introduce to measure a trust level. And I would say this story is quite custom for different companies. But in our case, we operated with a very simple metrics. First one was time to market. And after introducing Agile, reduced from months to actually weeks, since we introduced biweekly sprints run with 2-week iterations. And as a result of each sprint, we make some product impact and product deliveries. And that's how we reduce this metric. Also, next thing which we did, we, instead of 30 plus developers operate it as a single team, we split it into 4 smaller teams, and each of these teams get their North Star metric, which this particular team focused on. So instead of chaotic metrics and business indicators, we set 4 clear North Star metrics for our teams, and they are business specifics. So for example, we introduced a metric, customer retention. We contributed a lot to increase the retention. Second metric was amount of products in our catalog, because we operate like a marketplace and we need a proper amount of supply of products on our platform. That's why it was important for business. Third metric was upfront value for the customers, because this contributes mainly for marketing initiatives and the quality of onboarding process and quality of the offer we put in front of the user when they onboarding to the system. And the fourth metric was amount of active stores on our platform. So these were 4 key metrics we highlight as a North Star for 4 teams. Again, they are business specifics, and other companies can get other metrics, and they should get other metrics. But the most important thing here that we had 4 clear metrics instead of chaos.
Right. And I love a few, actually, there's a lot of that I love about what you were talking about. I think what I'm curious about is what was the change you saw in the development teams and the execution team's ability to deliver? One, when they became a smaller team, and two, when they had very clear metrics that were related to business value rather than process performance.
Actually, really good question as well, because there are 2 ways how I can describe this shift. First is qualitative, second is quantitative. And qualitative, I would say that at first, we faced some resistance from the team, because nobody likes any changes, and we
Yeah.
received some pushbacks from the teams, which we, as a management, as a leadership team, had to work with. But after these changes happened, we actually saw that uh, people and developers in the teams and product managers love this new setup. They start competing with each other in terms of team versus team, and this competence
Yeah.
effect actually contributes to gaining more metrics, to increasing velocity, and so on. So in the on the quality part, I would say team starts having more fun. The atmosphere starts to be more relaxing, because everyone understands what are the goals, what they're going to achieve in the long run, and so on. And if we are speaking about quantitative part, actually this is where metrics are helping us to measure the impact. And I would say that the major impact was made on team's velocity. When we focused teams on a smaller piece of problems, and when we introduced this competence between competition between the teams, the velocity, I would say that for 6 months, our overall velocity doubled. So the result was amazing, I would say.
It's great to hear you say that, because we talk to people about, hey, your productivity can double or more. And so often people look at us like we're crazy, like that's not
Right.
possible. I love third party validation. I'm gonna turn that into a short, and I'm gonna just post it on LinkedIn like once a week for the next year. Because I think people need to hear that. Like that is what's possible when you do some of this stuff. And when people start getting measured by the value they create rather than the number of steps in the process they complete.
Now, I
So I
think
Yeah.
love that.
you glossed over one part for me, and I'd like to go back just a little bit. You you talked a little bit about getting buy-in and about building trust. How did you actually build the buy-in? Because that seems to be one of the biggest hurdles for most engagements that we look at.
I absolutely agree that it is the most complex part of all this process. And frankly speaking, when I joined the company and I saw the state where the team was, I was quite frustrated and maybe scared because I realized at those moments that I need to do a lot of changes and I'm a new guy in the company. I do not have enough weight to push these changes. And I had to get the buy-in from the leadership to do it efficiently. So I would say couple of major approaches I used to get this buy-in. So first of all, I started treating my entire leadership team as a primary persona. So basically, I introduced a product management approach to my daily work. I start treating my managers and the whole leadership team as a primary persona. I started talking to them regularly, understanding what are their pain points, how they see the company in future, how they think the product and stack team can help them build in this future. And after that, when I clearly understood what the problems were, I was able to address it properly. So I would say the major thing here is to treat your management, your leadership as your user persona and do everything to meet their goals and to help them to be efficient.
That's great.
Like that. Treating your leadership team as the customer in that perspective. No, I think that works great. I mean, that really frames the conversation, and it sounds like it's worked out well for you.
Yeah. Since I'm
So
still working in this company, yeah,
they haven't gotten rid of you yet. So, Alex, it sounds like since you've started, you've made a lot of progress, you've made a lot of changes, and you've seen some really great results. What are the remaining challenges? What are some of the speed bumps that you're still dealing with?
yeah. So I believe we did a great work in terms of introducing flexibility and agility to the teams. And I believe we also we won the fight with the silos in the companies. And for me, the primary focus right now is to structure in the best way a discovery process because our environment is so rapid, our leadership team is so visionary and pulling the development in different directions simultaneously. What I want to solve as the next milestone, me being in this company, is to structure proper product discovery approach while keeping the team agile and executing the roadmaps and our existing plans.
I love that. I think discovery is one of those things people pay a lot of lip service to, but don't necessarily ever find that effective, efficient way to get it done.
Yeah.
And
As we're wrapping up here, Alex, what is the lesson, the takeaway you hope our listeners walk away with?
Yeah. So our discussion is about innovations and innovative way how to structure things. I would say that it is always important to keep in mind the business results or tasks you want to solve with these innovations, and do not make innovations in sake of innovations. Do not be introduce agile just to be agile. You need to clearly understand what goals you want to achieve and what business problems you're trying to solve.
Love it. I love it. We talk a lot about the definition of a success, and I feel like if you don't have that, it's like you don't have a compass.
Exactly.
You're never going to get there. So I love it. Alex, if people are looking to collaborate with you or if they have questions about setting up Agile in their organization, what's the best way to get into contact?
The best way is to follow me on LinkedIn. People can find me very quickly, Alexander Blinov or Alex Blinov. Yeah, just use my LinkedIn page.
Awesome. Well, Alex, thank you so much for joining us today. For everyone else who made it all the way to the end as well, we really appreciate you being here. We hope you found some value. Reach out to Alex, get some support in Agile. If you know anyone else who is kind of running down that Agile road, looking to make that transformation, share this episode with them, share the wealth, introduce them to Alexander. And then the last bit, we would love to hear from you in the comments. What are the challenges you're facing in an Agile transformation? And what are you struggling with? One of us, Alex, we can all help, and we'd love to hear from you. So leave a review. Let us know what your insights are. And with that said, we'll see you all next time on Breakthrough Innovation.
thanks.
Thank you guys. Pleasure to be here today.